Hey everyone, I'm accuracy testing my Pac-Man clone, and I'd figured I'd take a moment to share some Pac-Man knowledge with you all. My original intent with this project was to program Pac-Man and create an AI agent that could play the game. But I soon found out that although there are few AI agents for Pac-Man, the vast majority are for Ms. Pac-Man. Why is that? The reason for this is that the game Pac-Man is what you would call deterministic. Determinism means that the game can be solved, so to speak. By inputting the exact same movements to Pac-Man, the ghosts will respond the exact same way every time down to the pixel. And some of the highest scores in the world were achieved by players who take advantage of that fact. They develop patterns that avoid ghosts and maximize their score. There are a few different patterns for the early levels of the game, but after 20, the same pattern works over and over until the game breaks at level 256. So what I'm doing here is running a few of these fruit patterns to see if they work in my game. In later levels, the patterns require near pixel perfect timing. So if the patterns work in my clone, I think I've done a pretty good job reverse engineering the game mechanics. So what you're looking at here on the left side of the screen is my game running in a browser, and on the right is the actual Pac-Man game. Running side by side, I'm doing the same fruit patterns. You can see there's a few discrepancies, but overall they're pretty close, I'd say. So what's the deal with Ms. Pac-Man then? Randomness. The only randomness in Pac-Man is introduced when the ghosts become frightened and wander around the maze unpredictably. But even that can be worked around by clearing most of the maze before eating the energizers. And in later levels, when the ghosts don't turn blue from energizers, randomness is eliminated completely from gameplay. So Ms. Pac-Man is considered non-deterministic. The people who programmed Ms. Pac-Man wanted to break the determinism of Pac-Man to make their game harder. So for the first handful of seconds of each level, the red and pink ghosts, Blinky and Pinky, move randomly throughout the maze. This means that the player can't know where the ghosts will be going when the level starts, and therefore can't design a pattern to avoid them. So here I'm going to run the cherry pattern in Pac-Man, so named because the pattern works on the first level, which also happens to have the cherry as its fruit. In addition to the ghost randomness, the programmers of Ms. Pac-Man added an element of randomness to the fruit as well. In Pac-Man, the fruit appears twice at specific pellet counts in the same spot on the map. It remains stationary for about 10 seconds before disappearing. So a pattern could be devised to run through that location when the fruit will be known to be there. In Ms. Pac-Man, the fruit enters through a random tunnel, does a lap around the ghost house, and exits through a random tunnel. So why not use AI on Pac-Man? Well, you could, but what's the point? Pac-Man has been solved, for lack of a better word. Max score achieved. In Pac-Man, the only strategy is to follow a known path. In Ms. Pac-Man, there is no known path to a max score. An AI agent must observe its environment and develop strategies to survive as long as possible while also scoring points. And that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching.